Let's look at stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers. And joining me now in the studio is lawyer and social development advocate Jide Ologun. It's nice to have you in my studio.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Great. And as we get along, we'll have Smart Akpejoye join us. Now let's start from the Blueprint newspaper. Blueprint says, "Dare us on our anti-corruption war," federal government tells critics. Dare us on our anti-corruption war, federal government tells critics, and says 1,400 convicts, 800 billion naira recovered, loot no mean feat. All right, insists a probe of Magu's EFCC NDDC commitment to graft fight. Anyanwu threatens legal action against Akpabio. Okay, all that on the front page of the Blueprint. Now, Daily Times is next. Daily Times says, "Why Nigeria is going downhill" by Olufalaye. All right, Olufalaye is an elder statesman, and whatever he says, I guess a lot of people have to listen to it. Why Nigeria is going downhill by Olufalaye. Now, from there, let's go to News Direct. Nipitex 2020 increase investment in pipeline projects to boost gas utilization. Stakeholders tell federal government on this. All right. From there, let's go to the Leadership newspaper. A Leadership newspaper says, "Turn-by-turn presidency not working." Mamman Daura is saying this, elder statesman as well, once most competent Nigerian to succeed PMB. He wants the most competent Nigerian to succeed PMB, all right, and says his role in the Buhari presidency is merely advisory. Okay. My guest will certainly would like to look at this. This is certainly, Nigerians are reacting to this on social media already. We'll talk about this as we get along. Now, Daily Trust is also focusing on the same thing. The 2023 presidency, no need for zoning, Mamman Daura says. We must stand firm on rotation. Afani on the other hand, is countering that. And gentleman agreement shouldn't be jettisoned. The Niger Delta Group is saying that. And power shift remains party affair, Arewa Consultative Forum says. So it's opinion from different parts of the country, from different associations there. Interesting. That's Daily Trust. We'll come back to this. Now, the last paper we're looking at now is the national economy. Agri-biotechnology, Nigeria moves closer to becoming net exporter of food. All right, that's on the national economy. Nigeria moves closer to becoming net exporter of food. Okay. All right. Jide, let me come to you on this. The story on the front page of the Leadership newspaper talking about turn-by-turn presidency. It comes this year, it comes, or after this administration, it goes to this region, and then after that, it goes to that region, and so on. We see various agitations right now already towards 2023. But Mamman Daura, elder statesman, is saying that he wants the most competent Nigerian to succeed PMB. When it comes to most competent, I wonder who defines what most competent is and how we can situate that for everyone to agree that this is the most competent person.
I quite agree with Mamman Daura that the most competent should manage Nigeria.
All right.
And
but how do we define that most competent?
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
If you look at Peter Drucker's position on leadership and management by objective, a leader that can set smart objectives and work towards achieving them. And Nigeria needs that today. And it's a great thing that this is coming on board. I just want to say that the concept of rotational presidency was a matter of convenience, of convention. It's not constitutional in a way. The Constitution itself emphasized federal character, which means that the interests of all regions be carried along, which has been grossly abused. And I think what is happening is that we are beginning to notice governance failures, because sometimes when a region is there and they see how time flies and how they have failed to develop the country, then they start agitating to continue in office. But if the concentration has been developing Nigeria based on the template of development, if there is any, and I'm sure we had one, And if you don't have a local one, or we are no longer in touch with it, we can connect with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations that talks about zero hunger, zero poverty, working towards making the society a better place for all. But in the absence of that, we keep this rotational pendulum presidency.
Yeah, but the point there is with the makeup of Nigeria and the impact that the local nationalities or ethnicities play in the way we do our politics, isn't the rotational presidency a way of making people feel, you know, having that feeling of a sense of belonging?
Good governance is not about feelings. It's about reality.
Yeah, but there are realities. There are realities of governance. Because governance is about the constitution. Those realities are there. But the political sides are the sentiments of things, the feeling of things. And certainly sometimes those sentiments have impact on how well the governance is going to run.
We are talking about presidency here.
Yeah.
Whether he's from the south or from the north or from the east, and lately we experimented from the south-south due to the geopolitical regions. There is a purpose which is simplified in section 14 subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution, Nigeria as amended, that security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. So it doesn't matter really where the president is from. It's because we have not synchronized our efforts. It's because we have this confrontational, adversarial politicking that this is coming up. So develop this country. I don't want to know whether you are from the north or from the east, from the central.
Let me put you on hold and bring in Smart Akpejoye here, who is joining us on Skype. Smart, it's good to have you join us this morning on the program. Now, everyone agrees that it doesn't really matter where the president of Nigeria comes from, because Ogun State that has produced a president is not necessarily better off than any other state because they have a president, or they had a president. Katsina State is not necessarily better off because they had a president. Bayelsa, Plateau State, Bauchi State, and all of Niger State have had presidents or heads of state, or Sokoto are not necessarily better off because they had a president. So the point there is, this issue of the president has to come from the south, and then after then he has to go to the north, and then after then he has to come to... Are we ripe to get rid of that?
Well, first, let me quickly say this, and let me say it very, very clearly and in a clear term. I am against rotational presidency.
All right.
I am not in support of this, what we call zoning. The reason is that, you see, I like making an example, and Nigerians will bear me witness that, of course, when we look at it, when you go back to my analysis, you will see that, yes, this country, it has never helped Nigerian because Mr. President is from the south, from the west, from Ogun State, it has helped them. I will give you one good example. If we have dynamic leaders, they will deliver. First, El-Rufai was the minister for Federal Capital Territory. Within his 4 years, he transformed Federal Capital Territory. Go and find out. So if such person, would you not say because, okay, it is the turn of a Kaduna man today, it must be the turn of a Yoruba man tomorrow, and Yoruba man will not perform, or a Kaduna man, because he's the turn of a Kaduna man today, and a Kaduna man will not perform, I will not put a Yoruba man
But Smart, the point there is a lot of Nigerians will agree with you on the ideals of it. But if we keep the ideals of what should be, and we come to the reality of what plays on daily basis, do you think that is going to work in the Nigeria of today at least?
You see, I've said something. We have a problem in this country. The problem that we have today is that we have neglected. Look, those things that worked for us in the past, what are the things that worked for us in the past? Those things that worked for us in the past is the fact that development takes place from the grassroots. If we don't go back to the grassroots, there is no way. Bring a saint. I want to be careful. I don't want to say bring Jesus or bring Prophet Muhammad, that it will not rule this country well. What we must do is that if you want to talk about development, let us take development back to the cradle. Now, development must start from the ward. Development must start from the local government. Development must start from the states. Today, we are always blaming Mr. President. Have we ever looked at our governors? Have we ever looked at our local government chairmen? Have we ever looked at our councillors? Are they performing? These are the problem. It is not. I am against zoning, and that is why if an Hausa man comes in 2023, if I feel that person is competent, I will still campaign for him. If it's a Yoruba man, I will campaign for him. I will campaign for you based on competency. I campaigned for Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 and in 2018, not because of the fact that, for the fact that we wanted change, but I voted for him because I was basing his performance on his past antecedent. So, and right now, either you like it or not, President Muhammadu Buhari has failed most of us. But that is not the topic. The topic is that presidency should not be zoned. Okay. Because if you are zoning it, even if it's an incompetent man coming from the north, we should put an incompetent man.
All right, Smart.
Man coming from
okay, Smart, thank you very much. Jide, before we leave now, the point there is, the assumption is that there are competent people in any place in the country, whether it is from Benue State or from Kogi State or from Zamfara or from Akwa Ibom. There are competent people everywhere. You can find them anywhere. But the equation where we have broken this country into geopolitical zones are broken into, there are ethnic, minorities and majorities and all of that. If the zoning is not taken care of, those who see themselves as minority, how would they have a sense of belonging?
It's not about the zoning. America has 50 states, and the nation is doing well. So we have just 6 geopolitical zones. We have just 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. If we decide to start doing the right thing, like Mr. Pejoye said, zoning or no zoning is not my problem, but developing this country. And it doesn't matter where you are from. We must restructure the system of governance that we deal with corruption. Corruption is now from grassroots to roof. So how do we put a system in place that we establish accountability and ensure that our resources are harnessed to develop the country? That should be the main focus.
That's the governance part of it, but we have to leave it here now.
Let's head straight to the papers now. And I begin with the blueprint. Dare us on our anti-corruption war, federal government tells critics. It says 1,400 convictions, 800 billion naira recovered loot, no mean feat. Insists probe of Magu's EFCC NDDC commitment to graft fight. Ayawa threatens legal action against Akpabio. Then we'll move to the front page of the Daily Times. Why Nigeria is going downhill by Olu Falai. To the front page of the News Direct, Nipitex 2020, increase investments in pipeline projects to boost utilization. Stakeholders tell federal government. All right, and on the front page of the Leadership newspaper, turn by turn presidency not working. Mamman Daura wants most competent Nigerians to succeed. President Muhammadu Buhari says his role in Buhari presidency merely advisory. All right, and on the front page of the Daily Trust, we have a similar story talking about 2020 presidency. No need for zoning, Mamman Daura says. We must stand firm on rotation at Feni Ferry. Gentleman agreement shouldn't be jettisoned. Niger Delta Group, power shift remains party affair. And finally, on the front page of the National Economy, agric biotechnology, Nigeria moves closer to becoming net exporter of food. And that is where we will be focusing our discussion on at this hour, talking about the use of biotechnology. I'll start with you, Jide. I wonder how Nigeria has fared. Are we becoming the net exporter of food? Are we inching closer, as it is being stated here from what you have seen?
It's a tall ambition, and I pray that we achieve it. But then, if we have such a tall ambition, we must take the proactive step to ensure that we actualize it. And let's go back to the potentials we have. Before the oil boom, in the early 60s, agriculture was a major driver of our economy. And when the oil boom came, we pushed it to the background. And unfortunately, we have mismanaged the revenues from the oil economy. And right now, we are talking about non-oil economy. And you now begin to realize that in the marketplace, you have competitors. For example, the United States, it's a giant when it comes to food exportation, you know, and they have clients like Germany, like Mexico. And I mean, we need to put some basic infrastructure in place and facilities to support this move. And let's go back to...
But that seems to be what the government rather has been trying to do. It has this anchor borrower scheme. It says the diversification agenda, the focus is on agriculture. But then a lot of persons say there seems to be a struggle because we want to return, so to speak, to what it used to be before the boom.
In
like
project management, even the anchor borrowing, from the reports we are getting, they've not been well managed, so it's been like a drainage. And I was going to say that we have attempted this before. I recall that in year 2017, the Minister of Agriculture, Audu
yes,
actually exported yams out of the country. And at that point, he said that the agric business in the UK was about 30 billion pounds, and that we were struggling to engage about 15 million pounds. And even the yam we exported out of the country, they got bad before getting there because, as we admitted, of storage facilities and infrastructure. So back home, we must first put these infrastructures in place. God has blessed us so much. In this sector of the economy, you look at some elements. You look at the climate. We have a fantastic climate. You look at the viability of our economy. And I think that's where the problem is. We have not channeled resources in developing this potential like other countries of the world that don't even have the natural resources that we have to support the agro-business. And right now, we can see what is happening in the oil sector, that you may no longer rely on oil and gas to drive your economy. So every effort the government can put in place, but going by how projects are managed in Nigeria, some Nigerians may want to feel that it's just a dream, but if we get serious about it, we can achieve that tall ambition.
I wonder what Smart Akpejiri thinks. He is the farmer here. So perhaps would you say that this is a tall order? Because there are issues of food security within the country. Farmers have been told to step up the plate. Production, storage is still a major challenge. Is this really a tall order?
Very honestly, while you were talking, I was laughing. In the first place, we are not getting closer. We are even getting far away from becoming even self-sufficient within the country, not to even talk about exporting. Why do I say this? First, this government is so fantastic. They came up with a lot of palliatives, lot of facility to boost farming. But you see, coming up with a program and following it up to execution, they are two different things. This government has not properly managed and execute those programs they have set aside. One time, Shehu Sani said it. He said that the press should go and should carry out investigation. Who are those that got the anchor borrower last chunk of fund? I challenge the journalists today, go and do a following and see if those people that got the fund were really farmers. You see that they could just register anything, whatever, and say so farms. But go and find out, are they genuine farmers? No. Now, NASA was also set up also to assist some farmers. Go and find out the NASA Microfinance Bank. Were they really responsible? Were they reliable and set up? No is the answer. I am a practical experience, but that is not a topic for today. The topic for today is that we are not getting closer. We are getting far away. If we want to get closer, you see, we must have a commodity board that me as a farmer, when I produce, somebody should be there. I could be able to call somebody, say, I have 15 tons of maize. Please come and pick from my farm in Ijebu-Igbo. And they should be able to come, weigh it, and pay me immediately. I should be able to say, I have some animals for sale. Please come and pick my pigs, go and process, come and pick my pigs, weigh and pay me. That is when we are getting closer. What is the government doing? This government, one thing they have done is that they have fantastic programs, but in terms of execution is zero. And I'm saying this, I'm saying it with all authority. Bring NASA Microfinance Bank, bring me, I will tell them where they have failed.
But
Also,
the report
bring
here,
out of
if
the-
I may interrupt your line of thoughts, is saying that perhaps if we begin to look at the use of biotechnology, that is involving technology in agriculture, that perhaps we might get that result that we are seeking. I wonder what you make of this.
Yes, you see, let's even take biotech. Let's even take, look, the advent of technology into agriculture. Will it boost farming? Yes, it will. I'll give you a good example. We talk about what we call greenhouse farming. If you have a greenhouse farming of about 1 acre, a greenhouse farming of about 1 acre cannot cost you less than almost about $2 million to have a good one that will function. And within 3 months, you will be surprised that the tomatoes, pepper, and whatever you will get there will surpass will wow you. And also, do we have government supporting this? No. You see, to do mechanized farming, it's not easy. To do mechanized farming, you need government intervention. To do mechanized farming, which will help us to feed ourselves and be able to have surplus and export, you need a lot of government intervention. These governments, they have fantastic program, but they are not following it. You may perhaps ask the CBN governor, what is happening to the egg processing powder that they have talked about so much? If that aspect have come up today, I tell you, farmers will not be burying their eggs. Farmers are still burying their eggs because they could not sell. So many people, so many poultry farmers, they are even slaughtering their chicken and giving it out or burying it because they could not process, because they could not sell. For us to be able to achieve our our targets, let's feed ourselves at a very minimal price, and let us also export so that we can show up our foreign exchange. The federal government must come in. All the programs they have set up, they are fantastic, but those people in charge of implementing it, they are not implementing it. They are behaving like godfathers. They are behaving like semi-gods in their various offices. And if we don't do that, I'm sorry, we cannot go anywhere.
All right, let's bring it back to the studio now. You've heard the concerns raised by Smart Akpejori talking about godfathers and perhaps corruption within every scheme the government seem to bring up to encourage farmers. What are the possibilities of, getting rid of all of this perhaps clog in the wheel of the progress of agriculture, saying that we are trying to fight corruption to a standstill and perhaps diversify, seeing the way the economy is going?
It's about getting serious and deliberate. And let me say, we fought corruption so much, and we have failed to realize that there is corruption in all the countries of the world, even the developed countries. So how can we make progress? So how can we have electricity? Biotechnology is powered, is driven by power. How do we have the processing? We have the cocoa, and Switzerland produces the chocolate. And it is the one who processes that takes the premium of the product. Mm-hmm. We have crude oil. We refine the crude oil out there, creating job opportunities, boosting the economies. We import back to Nigeria and sell to citizens at premium. What is the cost of doing business? And that's why I agree with Mr. Akpejori. The government should get serious. When you talk about having plans, the plans of Nigeria can make the whole world paradise. But do we implement? There are questions to, do farmers, real farmers, get the resources coming out of the CBN? And by and large, we are talking about production here before you even start exporting. What about the headers killing farmers?
All right.
What have we done to ensure security? So we don't want this somersault of policies and promises. Please, if you must make promises to Nigerians, follow it up.
All right,
or you
so
don't
we'll
make
leave
the
it here
promises.
now. Well, let's leave the conversation here now for want of time. Thank you so much, Jide Ologun, for your time. Thank you so much, Smart Akpejori, for also speaking with us.